skin is really thick. I'm the leader of the crowd, and my game is really slick. I'm unstoppable, 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 unstoppable. You can talk all you want, but my skin is really thick. I'm the leader of the crowd, and my game is really slick. I'm unstoppable, 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 unstoppable. Save your pity for tomorrow when I'm smashing like a ball in the club. On the news, I'll be rocking like a rock star. Unstoppable, 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 unstoppable.
BTS, baby. Hello world, I got a black president and a yellow girl. And my red shoes with my swag so sick I need meds too. I never make a bad move, but I can make her bed move. They like my attitude, ain't nobody else at my magnitude. Shit, ain't nothing stopping me. I feel like ain't nothing out for me. What you talking about that? I ran in the bank and I walked out fast. Yeah, and I walk it like I talk it, but I run this shit. Yep, run it like a boss. I'm on the A-list cause I'm awesome. Young Money.
You can talk all you want.